All right, so maybe on Facebook and Instagram, but I need to fix that. Okay, let's hope this works. So I'm in my cabin tonight. Facebook doesn't always work very well here. So we're going to see what happens. So it may not, the connection may be fuzzy on Facebook, but hopefully it'll work on Zoom. So nice to see you all. Thanks for coming. I wanted to do a meditation this evening on what did I call it? The law, manifesting and abundance and divine laws that can help us kind of tap into that stuff. And, as I always like to do, in these meditations is kind of give a little like general assessment of energy that's around us and that a lot of us are experiencing. And that is, I just talked about this right now with a client. The energy is all about just shadow work and things coming up and, traumas, limiting beliefs, like stuff that needs to be cleared. It's coming up now, rising up for us to handle, to transmute, to move through. And this is happening on a individual level and on a collective level. So, as I always say, turn off the news. The 3D world is raging. There's suffering, there's sadness, there's all these things, that are happening. And if we give our energy to that, it can bring us in a lower vibrational place. It's just not helpful. So I would, let's focus on how we can, really connecting with our own light and clear our own shadows. And that individual work that we all do is going to help the collective. So what does this have to do with manifesting? Well, I'll get to that. But, so for me personally, I've been working with the law of attraction for many years now, and I wrote about it in my book, as many of you know, Tools for the Awakening Soul. And I like to say I manifested my husband, that he did exist before I called him in, but I've been going through these like relationships that were just the same sort of pattern, dysfunctional. And I realized there was something going on. I needed to transmute that. So I wrote down what I wanted in a partner, how I would feel with that person. I visualized it. I focused on it. And a year later, there he is. Same thing with this business, visualizing it, creating it, writing it down, focusing on the feeling. Same thing with the house. I don't mean to sounds like I'm bragging, but I say this because I know a lot of you do this too. A lot of you learn about manifesting, but it does work, right? It's a law of resonance, a law of attraction. There's similar law of vibration. And then recently, I've been working on, I really wanted to go back to Costa Rica. And of course, we've been there a few times. My sister has a house there with her family. And so we have been there and but we haven't gone for the past few years. And but 4 plane tickets to Costa Rica is not cheap. So I was, working on manifesting that, visualizing it, how would it feel, and just writing it down. I wrote it down. I really just focused on this as a hypnotherapy technique too. How would you go to the end of the goal? How would it feel if it were already true? How would it feel if this were how your life were? That you'd be so proud of yourself. You'd be relieved. You'd be and for me, I was like, we're on the plane. We're like, hey, we can't go. Can't wait to go. And I just really focused on the feeling of being there. And it's like freedom and just joy and being warm and all this stuff. And then, I had to do the work and put out, for obviously it was bringing in more money in this case, at least. Doesn't always work that way. But in this case, it did come through my business, which obviously feels really good to me. But what's nice about being self-employed, let me just say, is that when you need to bring in more money, you can make that happen, and if you were working in a job, I remember being like this, I would never be able to do that because I just get a paycheck and whatever I make, I had very little control. I remember in my old job, I went to my boss. I did this a few different times and made a case for why I felt like I should get a raise. And And one time I did, and then another time, but it wasn't what I wanted. It would be like a little bit of a raise. And we were just kind of struggling. We're like, this is, we're getting paid whatever this other place decided we should be paid, and that they decided what I was worth and how much I was valued. It was this external source of, my worth. And that didn't feel good. And that was very disempowering. So I really do believe that the future of where we're going in 5D is this sort of like entrepreneurial, reclaiming control over our lives and our livelihoods. And, when you have your own business, it can be good in a good way, but also sometimes a little scary. Like, whoa, I'm in control of my paycheck. And my husband and I are both self-employed. So we both are, if things are tight, it's tight, or we're bringing in abundance. So anyway, that I definitely have worked through a lot of my own like inner blocks and stuff like that to allow this to happen. But my whole point is that when you are in business, self-employed, it's freedom, because you can then be in more control of the flow. Really, that's all it is flow. So in terms of, the law of resonance and attraction, it's really important to keep in mind that everything is vibration. And this is going to help, all of us. I think, right now, a lot of people are experiencing financial challenges. That's by design. The 3D world is pulling out all the stops, raising the prices on things and trying to create scarcity, and that creates fear, right? And we start to go into this retracted place of worrying about, are we going to have enough money for this or that? Are we going to be able to pay our mortgage? Are we going to be able to pay our heating oil? Are we going to be able to get gas? Are we going to be able to get food? And all of that is normal. It's normal to think that. And believe me, I've done a lot of work on this myself. But ultimately, that is just conditioning. We've been conditioned to believe there is not enough. We've been conditioned to believe that, that in scarcity, and it's passed down through generations in our governments. And that's by design. Why? Because then we can be controlled, right? If we need to ask for somebody else for money, or hope that they'll give us send us a little check in the mail, that it's all these systems of control. So it's definitely takes time. It's easier said than done to kind of free ourselves from this matrix of control. I certainly haven't, there's still lessons I'm learning, because I still participate in that a little bit. Of course, I pay a mortgage, I pay heating, and go to the grocery store and get food and all that stuff. And I pay a lot for those things, like a lot of you do. But I've also done a lot of work to try to clear my limiting beliefs around it. So anytime there's a big bill, sometimes I'll be like, oh, ew, man, I don't want to pay it. But then I'll be like, it's okay. There's more where that came from. There's more where that came from. Flows in, flows out, freely give, freely receive. And just kind of reprogramming our thinking can then bring us into more of a state of flow, because again, it's vibrational. So if we are thinking, I'm not this, I can't do that, or whatever, we're in a low vibrational state. And the things that are out there that we seek, like travel or whatever it is, it's really freedom that we want. It's really not money that most of us, maybe it is money, but it's what money brings us. It's the freedom to, do things you want to do, or have the things. It's really ultimately freedom and safety, I guess, too. But that's what we're really seeking. It's not the money. So the other, I'm kind of jumping around here, but the things that we're seeking, these beautiful high vibrational ways of being, freedom, joy, that, like I was talking about, write it down, positive present tense. How would it feel? Describe how you would feel. And you can get specific, like it could be about a specific trip, like I was just talking about. It could be about in a business for yourself, like I've done that as well, obviously. It could be in a relationship you want. It could be, I do it for little things like a retreat that I'm doing. How do I would like that retreat to go? And I cannot tell you how many times it just works. It literally aligns, because the more we describe how it would feel, the more we're creating this energetic blueprint. We're creating this thing that gets sent out into the ether that exists in the quantum field. Lori Ladd, who's a great spiritual teacher, was literally talking about this a few weeks ago, right before my, manifestation thing happened. And she was saying, when you can visualize something, and this is what Michael Jordan would do. I always use this analogy. Michael Jordan, Olympic athletes, they would visualize themselves doing something like, throwing the ball in the basket over and over, winning the race. I used to do this in high school, actually, when I was an athlete. And I would visualize myself winning races, and I would win them a lot of times because I would picture it happening before it happened. And so it's literally this divine law that it already exists in the quantum field. It has been done. It's there. And all we're doing, so that achievement, that goal, it's out there in a timeline waiting for you, if you think about it that way. And what we're doing is we're trying to align our current selves vibrationally to have that vibration match us where we are now. That's the law of attraction. So there's a way it works. And definitely, I make it sound really easy. It's not as easy as it sounds, because we have ego, we have limiting beliefs, we have thoughts that will tell us why we can't, shouldn't, won't. And those can take a lot of time to clear. But really what's happening is we want to, when we describe how we would feel, how, proud we are, we, use language like as if it's already happening. So for instance, with Costa Rica, I was like, I'm, traveling with my family. We are so happy to be there. We're outside and so proud that we made it. And finally we're back and we go do this and that. And I'm describing like how it feels. And so it's generating the energy. It's making that really strong. I'm placing it out there in the quantum field. And then, and I write it down, right? And I'm visualizing. And then it's like, and I say this with clients, a lot of you here have heard me say this. What are the thoughts that come up that say why that can't, shouldn't, won't happen? Sometimes it happens right away. And with money, I hear this from people a lot with clients, like instantly, sometimes they'll be like, well, I can't because I don't have enough money for that. And so that creates a block. So if we start to think I can't because I can't afford it, I don't have enough money, I blah, 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 it's too expensive, we're creating a block, which means that it might not happen because it's a block, right? It's a lower vibrational thing. Instead, if we think there's always a way, because there is always a way. I believe it's possible. I believe that, try to reframe that. It's like, do I really believe that? Is that really true? And trying to, we're not going to say like, oh, I have tons of money and I'm going to be able to do whatever I want. Like that, we don't totally believe that, but magical things can happen. I remember I went to a conference once, and it was a plane ticket. Well, it was actually recently, and I didn't want to buy a plane ticket. I didn't want to pay for the hotel because I felt like it was all too much. But I found this old credit card that I forgot I had, and I had enough miles to pay for a plane ticket on that old credit card from like 15 years ago. And I was like, I said to my husband, I was like, I can't even believe this. Like, I can't even believe it. I don't know how. I hadn't looked at it in 15 years. And so I got basically a free plane ticket, and I had done the vision about going to this conference. So that's how I went. So things can happen like that. But if I had said, I'm not going to be able to go, I can't pay for it, I can't afford it, or I whatever, it just it would have been dead in the water. So opening to the possibilities is really how it works. And then the next piece, and then I'll get to the meditation, is surrendering. So the more like it's all vibration. So when we think like, this is where I want to be, this is how I want my life, this is my goal, what I'm seeking, but then we get frustrated because it's not happening. So, we're trying, sometimes we can do a little bit too much efforting, like visualizing all the time and saying our mantras all the time. And like, why isn't it working? But we start to get frustrated. It's not working. And so what happens when we're thinking it's not working is we're lowering our vibration again. So it's surrendering and just saying, okay, well, I would love it if I could go on that trip, or if I could go to that conference, or if I could, whatever, have this thing happen. But if it doesn't happen, I can still have it. I still can have a joyful life. I can still do this and this. I'm grateful for this and this and this in my life. And that gratitude and that sort of acceptance, guess what? Raises our vibration. And then we're in that high vibrational state. And then it just happens. So, well, let me just say, it doesn't just happen. we do need to put out energy and effort. And so that's the other piece is, I started looking at plane tickets before I even knew how we were going to pay for all of us to go to Costa Rica. I just looked around. I started looking. I was talking to my sister about when we were going to go. And my ego was like, what are you talking about? You still need to bring a bunch of money, this money in to just pay for your trip. And I was just like, well, it's going to work out. There's going to be a way. And that I just trusted and just kind of just kept going with it, and as if it was already happening, right? So that is part of the concept, a little bit of surrender, and also taking action, reaching out. We do need to do that. So that's part of the intuitive guide. We will feel maybe a pull, and if it's a business, reaching out to potential client, or putting yourself out there. A lot of I do that quite a bit, and it's important to do that, because and then it's moving through some ego stuff that says, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't reach out and promote this thing, or I don't want to look too salesy or whatever. And again, that's ego. So it's moving past a lot of that stuff and putting it out there is the other key to bring in our manifestation. So I hope that's helpful in some way. And, I believe it's just, our world could be just such an amazing, different place if we kind of really understood how vibration works and how we can co-create our realities. And I was saying this to my kids at dinner, we look at nature and there is always a flow. If we freely give, freely receive. Like when we give, it's funny, actually, right before I had this abundance came in, I had donated some money somewhere. I think I donated a few different times. And, part of my ego was like, oh man, should you be spending that? And, but I did, just because I believed it was the right thing to do. And I wanted to be generous. I believe in being generous, within reason, of course. I'm not going to give all my money away. But I believe that also helped. I didn't think of it at the time, but that it keeps you in a vibration of flow. So when we give, we believe that we are trusting that there is enough. I'm glad this is helpful. Thanks, Grace, for saying that. We believe that there is enough. It's our God-given birthright. And it is a natural law that there is flow. That's how, and that's what I was saying to my kids, water flows into a stream, and sometimes a stream dries up, but then the water is going to come back again. There's leaves that grow abundantly, and then sometimes they're dormant in the winter, but then they grow back again. So that's kind of like we go through these cycles in life with flow, and all it is energy. Money is just energy. And so it's just allowing the energy to flow through us, to go out and come back in. And once we start to understand that's what's happening, and we don't go into contracted states, so not spending anything ever and holding it tightly out of fear of not having enough, is not going to allow flow. So I'm a big believer. I mean, we're not millionaires. I spend, and sometimes, I think, man, should I be spending all this money on different things? But I believe in enjoying life, and we go out to dinner and we go on trips, and sometimes like, oh, it's getting a little tight, but then it comes back in again. And we always have enough. We always have enough. And it's not like, we're living these lives of luxury, but we have, and that's what I've kind of programmed in my mentality is there is always enough, and a little bit more than enough, is nice. So anyway, so that's, it takes time. And I'm still, that's something it's taken me a while, let me just put it that way. And I still sometimes need to work on my own abundance mindset, but I hope this has been helpful for those of you who, are working on that, because we've been gets passed down. Parents say stuff to us. We have experiences. There's a lot of deprogramming that needs to happen. And, hypnotherapy can be really helpful to do that. Obviously, I do that if any of you need support around that. And I'm going to mention this again, the intuitive guide program I'm offering in the end of January will teach you how to be self-sufficient and have your own sort of source of income for yourself, to do your light work, to be in control of your own livelihood, which is freedom, really, leaving the matrix. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me, because that's what I did. And it's my blessing and honor to help others kind of create this life of freedom for themselves as well. And to help people and learn how to read the Akashic Records, which, by the way, the Akashic Records helps me so much when I learn, trying to be like, how do I do this? And what do I do now? And should I go to Costa Rica? How do I, yes, you should go. Yes, do that. Like that's where I get my guidance. All right, so let's do a meditation. Okay. This was a little bit longer because I just really wanted to explain this to you all. And actually, before I forget, if you want to there's a meditation on my podcast called Aligning with the Flow of Abundance, I think. Is that what it's called? I don't know what it's called. Something about abundance. And I have a few downloadable handouts that are in the New Earth Collective. So if you're in the New Earth Collective, which is a monthly membership, there's a few on clearing up your money vibrations, visualization exercises, some mantras, some just different tips of things you can do. Like I mentioned, give tips, how to work with your bank account, stuff like that. And it's also in my book. So a bunch of these exercises are in Tools for Awakening Souls book. So if you want to learn more about that, pick up the book or join the New Earth Collective and you can access some of that. Okay. I'm glad it's worked for you, Kathy. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome to hear. It's amazing. It works, right? It takes time, but it does work. All right. So let's align with the flow of abundance and vibration. So let's close our eyes. Deep breath in, slow exhale out. And then just do this a few more times. And slowly double the length of the exhale. And on the last breath in, hold here, expand the air into your lungs, into your upper body, and then slowly let it out. And just settle into the natural rhythm of your breath. Just letting it flow in and out. Very simple. You're just observing the movement of breath. Observing how as the breath flows, the blood also flows through your veins, the life force in your body. And you're bringing yourself in this moment into a place of deeper relaxation, stillness. Heart begins to slow down a little bit. Your pulse slows. You're just allowing in peace. And as you breathe now, I'd like you to start to breathe into your heart. Just imagine on your inhale, you're connecting in with your heart. You're activating your heart space, allowing the energy to grow there, generating light, generating connection, plugging in to sources of love. And just bring your awareness as you breathe in and out to these divine beings surrounding you, angels, ascended masters, maybe there's ancestors. There's just different expressions of light, multidimensional beings, all connected to the I am presence of all that is, of oneness, of God. And just feel this energy swirling around you, colors, textures, some are soft textures, some are stronger, more intense. And these expressions of energy of these divine beings are also in a state of flow. They are aligned with the energy of the universe. And they want to help you, and what you are learning to do is to also align with that. Moving beyond the dense limitations of the human body and the traumas of the human experience. You're remembering who you are. You're activating your inner light. And as you do that, as you connect with the light within you, within your soul, with a little bit behind and below your heart, this flow begins to come out as like a wave coming out of your heart. And it begins to come out of other parts of your body. And you're just giving off these waves, ripples that are flowing out from all around you. So you're becoming fluid. And if there's a place in your energetic body that feels heavy or dense or stuck or contracted, with your intention to release that contraction, to clear it, it is done. And just feel that clearing out. Feel the flow, the ripples, the waves, dislodging that stuck energy. Maybe it's in your root chakra. Feeling of safety, feeling of having enough, feeling of being secure. And that's dislodged. Maybe it's in your sacral chakra, feeling worthy, that you're enough, that you deserve. And that's being cleared. Maybe it's in your solar plexus. Your sense of power and the ability to make change in your life. Can you do this? And that's being cleared. And it moves up through your heart, through your throat, speaking your truth, reaching out, connecting, taking a risk, through your third eye, feeling a sense of knowing and intuition and understanding and connecting in. And also your crown chakra, feeling that you are one with all that is, and you're always being guided, and that you are an expression of God. All of these chakras. And there's ones above the head, and there's ones below, way down below your feet. Feel these waves of light clearing all of this until you're like a gelatinous wave cracking out of your human shell. Just allow yourself to feel this vibration, these waves coming out of your body, this flow, undulating waves moving through your body like a river. Just allow yourself to feel this for a moment, this light. In and out, pushing out your hands and feet all around, exuding out into the atmosphere around you. Just feel this for a few moments here. And as this energy, as your energetic field is being cleared, you're aligning with a higher vibrational state. And maybe you've already set some intentions of what you seek in your life. And now you're able to tune in to the morphogenetic field, which is a field of possibilities, past, present, and future, that exist around you, out in the ether, You know there is a deep desire and a longing that you've had for something in your life that's out there. And I'd like you to call that up right now and feel it coming closer to you. Feel its vibration. And feel that the waves that you're giving out from your energetic body are now exactly matching up with the waves of that longing or desire, that vision, that wish, that dream that you've had. They're syncing, they're linking up. And the energy from that vision, that desire, is traveling like an umbilical cord to you. And your energy is linking up with its, and it's mixing up back and forth, an exchange of light and an energy. And it gets closer and closer until you become one with this energetic desire and vision and wish. And you feel its energy flowing through your body. You feel all the feelings that you would feel if this were your life, if this were your reality now, and you opened your eyes and this is what you step into. This is the feeling is instantly now there. And you're being asked in this moment to set aside what you see with your eyes. You may not see it in your physical reality yet, but it's there in your mental and emotional reality now. In your invisible world, in this alternate reality, which is still a reality, it exists. So feel that for a few moments. Get into the details. What would your daily life be like if this were your reality? Who would you be talking to? What would you be doing with your time? What would you be thinking about? Begin to step into this reality fully. And then take a deep breath in and feel as you exhale that integration is sealed. It is done, it is done, it is done. The merger has completed. You have now placed this vision into your Akashic field, into the future timeline that you are on. It's just a matter of when. So feel yourself in the coming days and weeks taking the steps you need to take in your waking life to make this happen. Who do you need to reach out to? It's often through other people. What actions do you need to take? How will you put yourself out there, out of your comfort zone, taking a risk? Feel yourself doing this. And how will you notice the signs and synchronicities? Taking time to quiet your mind, to trust it, and recognize how this vision is now, this dream is going to start unfolding in your life. You'll know when you're being guided to clear any limiting beliefs or negative thoughts or vibrational blocks, and how you'll know how to move through those, or who can help you moving through those, or what you can do to move through those. And you'll begin taking those steps. And you trust every step of the way. And you have patience, 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 trusting that your order has been received and it's coming. Gratitude, even if it doesn't come to be. So grateful for the blessings in your life as it is. It is done. So take a deep breath in, slow exhale, bring your hands in prayer position to your heart center, just giving thanks to this space, to this energy, to the divine guidance who've been here with us in this experience, and thanking these angels, guides, beings of light, to God, to your higher self, to any other sources of unconditional love who can help, who are helping, who can help nudge you and encourage you and support you on the way. It is time. You are ready. You deserve this. It is your birthright. You remembering who you are. And for this, we give much thanks and gratitude. May it be so, and so it is. Deep breath in, so exhale out, coming back into your body, stretching out. And then you can open your eyes. Hope that was helpful in some way. If anybody wants to share what that was like, or if you have a question, feel free to type it in. Hopefully I'll see it. I can see it on Zoom. I think I can see it on Instagram. I don't know if I can see it on Facebook because it does weird things. Yeah. I always make those up on the spot. And I like that one. So keep doing that. I'll record that. This has been recorded and I'll probably post it up on my podcast as a, meditation. The video is going to be on Souls Gathering Together in the Facebook group forever. So you can go listen there immediately. And I'll put this up on YouTube as well, on my YouTube channel. If you want to watch the whole thing, but on the Courageous Path podcast, which is on SoundCloud and iTunes, that's where I'll put just a meditation point at some point. I don't know when. My kids have been sick this week. It's nasty cough. Oh, it's awful. So I have been taking care of them and trying to squeeze in everything else in between. And in the meantime, if you want a nice gift for somebody, I don't even know if I have my book with me somewhere. It's behind me. It's a nice gift. Somebody today just ordered 4 books for her and her daughters, I think. I don't know who, but if you wanted to help somebody who's doing spiritual growth in their lives, and there's writing tools, there's meditations, there's how to learn about intuition. My book is there, and I think people have been enjoying it because I've been seeing people buy it for their friends and relatives, and that is so cool. It means so much. So if you wanted to order books, make sure to do it, within the next few weeks. If you're in Maine, it takes just a few days to mail, but if you're in another state, it usually takes about a week. So I want to, so it gets there in time for Christmas, if you celebrate that. If you're interested in really stepping into doing this work for yourself, or even if you have your own business already and you want to kind of really amp it up and bring it into a vibrational place and learn some more tools like reading the Akashic Records, and learn about doing intuitive guide work, like intuitive life coaching, which is what I do, guided imagery, ego work. There's the Intuitive Guide Certificate program called the Soulful Work Method that I'm offering in the end of January. And if you don't have a business and you want to do that and you're not sure how you're going to do that, well, good news is that you do your own inner work as part of the program. You go through some individual sessions with me to do your own healing, your own clearing, to then feel ready to then share your gifts and to share this work in your own way with others and create a business for yourself, livelihood. So reach out to me if that's of interest as well. There's still a few spots left. All right. That's all I got. Oh, if you're in Maine and Saturday, come by Sherman's Books in Topsom. I'll be doing a book signing from 11 to 1. They have a lot of cool stuff there. You could get some gifts for people if you want while you're there. And then on Sunday, I'm doing a workshop with Tanya Zuckerman, Radical Self-Love, it's called. And that's actually all we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing more about the law of resonance, creating our future selves, and breath work. So she's the spiral dance breath work. She does breath work to kind of clear all those blocks. So it's going to be a really cool virtual workshop on Zoom on Sunday afternoon. If you're interested in that, check that out. I'll try to put in a few links for these things there. All right, this has been long. Thanks for bearing with me. I promise I won't keep it this long next time. All right, many blessings, everyone. Bye.